Dixie sticker, you're assured of a quality vehicle, a great deal, and no rigmarole.
Live from Spring Hill High School in Spring Hill, Louisiana, you're watching high school football on Florida Parish's television, Channel 17. Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Willoughby, and going solo again here this week as the Independence Tigers head north to Spring Hill, Louisiana to take on the Spring Hill Lumberjacks in quarterfinal Class 3A action here tonight. Both ball clubs come into tonight's ball game with a record of 10-2. Both had narrow regional round victories last week. The host Springfield Lumberjacks defeated Benton, their district rival, by a score of 19-16. That ball game went to 2 overtimes, and of course Independence had a narrow win over the Abbeville Wildcats by a score of 21-19. A game in which Independence trailed in the first half, came back with 2 scores in the second to take a 1-touchdown lead, held on in the last minute, and had a big 2-point conversion stop by Otto Bonds in the last minute to seal that victory. Contrast in styles here tonight. Spring Hill is a big football team. They go about 260 up front, run a modified version of the wing tee. They like to run the football but can throw it. They have an outstanding quarterback by the name of Jamison Haygood, and he likes to throw to DJ Curry, number 7, and also Sam Washington, number 83. They are 2 outstanding receivers, and they'll be a big part of their offense tonight. Of course, Independence led by Antron Sieber, who is still gimpy with a sprained ankle. He's much better this week, however, and look for him to be a little bit more mobile in this ball game. Still not 100%, but he should be ready to go for the Independence Tigers. As the captains come out to the center of the field, we're going to take a break, come back with the opening kickoff for you. You're watching high school football on Florida Parish's television, Channel 17. Mark Willoughby back with you at Spring Hill High School Stadium on the campus of Spring Hill High School in North Louisiana, just across from the Arkansas border. Tonight, the Tigers take on the Spring Hill Lumberjacks, and it should be an outstanding ball game tonight, as is the case in quarterfinal action. Captains on the field for Spring Hill will be number 7, DJ Curry. Number 90 for Spring Hill is Ken Bailey, and also number 15, the quarterback, Jamison Haygood. And for Independence, number 64, Aaron Lips. And can't quite see who the other captains are for Independence. I think that's Ezra Spurlock, also one of the captains for the Tigers in this ball game. While we're awaiting the coin flip, today's game is brought to you in part by People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC, with 5 offices to serve you in Amite, Kentwood, Greensburg, Franklinton, and a new office in Hammond. That's People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. Dixie Motors is dedicated to service after the sale. Don't get stuck without a Dixie sticker. Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. And First Financial Services, for all your holiday and money needs. A free ham or turkey with all loans from now till Christmas. Just think First Financial Services, Hammond, and Ponchatoula. And also Mike's Glass and Radiator, windshield repair, radiator repair, or just your annual inspection sticker. Mike's Glass and Radiator, just off Highway 51 in Independence, and also Field of Dreams Baseball School, located on North Cherry Street in Hammond. Jason Baglio, owner, that's Field of Dreams Baseball Camp. Call Jason Baglio, 878-9415. The Lumberjacks won the toss. They will defer. They want to go on defense first. They'll kick off to the Tigers, who will defend to our right. So the Tigers will get the football here to start the first quarter. Spring Hill, a very good defensive football team, a grinded out offense. They can hit you with a big play. Their only losses this year were to Northwood High School in Shreveport. 23-19 was that score, and of course to Evangel, who was their the first place representative out of District 1-3A. And of course we all know about Evangel if you're a Tiger fan, and they defeated Spring Hill by a score of 54-0. Tigers lost to Kentwood 17-0, and to Salmon on the final week of the regular season by a score of 14-13. And we are about set for football. Tiger fans across the way have made the trip up, and They're still filing in as cars continue to drive in here to Lumberjack Stadium, and kicking off for Spring Hill, it looks like, as we check, number 26 for the Jacks. That'll be Jerron Coleman, who will kick the ball off for Spring Hill. Field conditions, even though the weather has been somewhat cooperative over the last week or so, it's been very dry. The field is soaking wet. It's very marshy out really around the hash marks. The middle of the field is relatively dry, but either some sprinklers were left on or a main busted or something, because the field is very, very wet. And that is very unusual because there has been no rain in the area since, I believe, Tuesday. But nonetheless, both teams will have to play in it. And we are about set for football as Coleman will kick it off for the Lumberjacks. Deep to receive for the Tigers, Otto Bonds, Charles Tofield, and also Jarvis Dunn. This will be Tofield from the 15. Has a big hole, and he'll hammer it out to about the 31-yard line, where the Tigers will go in business, 1st and 10. And let's see, the 31-yard line. Tigers will have Antron Sieber at quarterback. The offensive line will be Ryan Gazzardo at center. Your guards are Aaron Lips and also Gary Rishu. Your tackles are Brett Anzalone, Barry Whitmer. At fullback, Kim Benitez. Tailback, Brandon Dawson. And your wideouts, Ryan Joseph and David Giacone. Tigers have it 1st and 10. Spring Hill will pack 7-8 men in the box. Here's Sieber. Turns, flips the quick screen. That's Joseph who has it. He'll slip a tackle on his feet, and he'll have first down yardage up close to midfield to about the 47-yard line. So the Tigers come out and quickly hit the quick screen to Lionel Joseph, and that's a Tiger first down. As Spring Hill has 7 stacked in the box, real close to the line of scrimmage within about 3 or 4 yards, and we saw Abbeville do that last week and had a lot of success stopping the Tigers' running game. So 1st and 10, ball at the 47, Tigers with a football. Opening moments of the ball game. Here's Sieber. He'll run the zone play. This is Dawson. He'll have a little bit of running room and is hit after a gain of maybe 1. Again, footing is very tough, and there Dawson tried to cut it back inside, but slipped a bit and picked up about 1 yard on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9. And we are a long way away from the playing field, and it's tough to spot numbers out here. It's a very dimly lit stadium, so we'll do the best we can in bringing you the correct ball carrier and tacklers in this ball game. Sieber on a 3-step drop. Here's Giacone on a hitch. He'll try to break outside, and he cannot as he gets about 1 or 2. And that's a nice play by the Spring Hill defensive back as Goldberg makes the tackle, and Mendenhall for Spring Hill. And the Tigers will run a 3rd down and 7. Ball resting right at midfield. The Tigers coming out throwing the football much as they did last week against Abbeville. And right here, ball at midfield, 1st 3rd down situation in this ball game. Here's Sieber, 3-step drop, fires complete, and breaking a tackle is Matt Jones, and he'll have another Tiger first down inside Spring Hill territory to the 36. Now Spring Hill has 7 stacked at the line, but they have 4 defensive backs way off of the football, and they are giving the underneath stuff to the Tigers, and that is what they excel in, is throwing the underneath stuff. And they're trying to cover Lionel Joseph. They're trying to take the deep stuff away from him. So let's see what type of adjustments Coach Benny Reeder and the Spring Hill Lumberjacks make. So it's 1st and 10, Tigers, ball at the 36-yard line. Here's Sieber. He looks, he'll have to run with the football, and he's just going to run it out of bounds at about the 37. That'll be a loss on the play of about 1 or 2. And Sieber is talking it over with Ryan Joseph. Apparently Joseph was on the wrong page. And the Tigers lose yardage, and it'll bring up 2nd down and a long 11, call it 12. Ball at the 37 or 38-yard line. Spring Hill, as we said, a big football team. They'll be bigger than Independence up front. Here's Sieber on waggle action, has plenty of time to throw, fires it, and it's incomplete. Tried to spot his tight end, Ryan LeBlanc, who apparently was not looking for the football. He was covered by Deion Thomas, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 12. As LeBlanc was covered by the linebacker there, and that's something that we saw last week, Abbeville. Abbeville's linebackers did not respect pass at all, but Spring Hill is a little more cognizant of that here tonight. 3rd down and 12. Tigers started this drive at about their 31, and they had it 1st and 10 at the Lumberjack 36, but have gone backwards since then. Here's Sieber, waggle action. Fires it, it's incomplete, intended for Giacone, and that's incomplete. And the Tigers will have to punt the football. So Spring Hill, who bends a little bit, but they do not break, Tigers will have to punt it away. So 4th down and 12. Sieber will do the punting for the Tigers. Deep to receive for Spring Hill will be Washington, and that's also, as we check, Deion Thomas for the Lumberjacks. Good snap. Kick is a line drive kick that just floats out of bounds, is shanked off the side of Sieber's foot, and is out of bounds as the official continues to walk up around the 25-yard line. So the Tigers may have been better off going for that in retrospect, as that punt only covers about 12 yards. So Spring Hill gets a break and has the football in relatively good field position after a shanked Antron Sieber punt. It was a good snap by Darnell Keith, who's been snapping in place of injured tight end Jeremy Cooper, who is not playing tonight. Lumberjacks with the football, and they'll hand it off to the fullback right up the middle, and he has a big running room, and that is the fullback, Deion Thomas. And again, right there, we saw the fullback really hurt Independence last week. That was Quinn Nolan for Abbeville, hurt Independence last week, and we see Spring Hill exploit the fullback on the gut play right up the interior of the Independence defense for a 1st down out to the 38-yard line. So Haygood under center, backs in a wing, man in motion. This will be another fullback give, and a big gaping hole again by number 32. Again, that's the fullback, that's Mark Gates, and they have 2 big running plays right up the interior of the Independence defense. And that's something that Sammy Messina, the Independence defensive coordinator, is going to have to get straightened out. And that is 2 weeks in a row now that they have been burned by the quick hitter to the fullback. So man in motion again. Here's Haygood to the fullback. This time they clamp down, but he still gets about 3 or 4 yards. They're going to call it a 4-yard gain, but nonetheless still positive yardage, and a 2nd down and 6 situation for the Lumberjacks at the 44-yard line. Ball resting at the 44 of or 46, I should say, of Independence. This will be the straight give for about 1 or 2 yards. This will be, we couldn't quite see who that is. Again, we are so far away from the football. It looks like Gates again. Or actually, that is, as we check, Coleman, I believe. And he picks up about 2 or 3 on the carry, and it'll be 3rd down, and call it 3 for the Lumberjacks. So the Lumberjacks face a 3rd down situation. This will be a give, and short of the 1st down, I believe, is Gates. He'll be about a yard short, and Spring Hill probably will go for it here on 4th and 1. So for the 2nd week in a row, the Tigers have been pushed a little bit up front defensively, and Spring Hill will go for it here on 4th down and 1. in motion. This will be a turn and a give, and he stopped and gets the first down as he just crosses the 40-yard line to the 39, and that's Gates on the give, and Spring Hill has their third first down on this drive. And they're going to measure for this, but it looks like this will be a first down. He's across the 40-yard line to about the 39, but let's see where the sticks are. It's really hard to tell. I'm right on the spot here, and it looks like he has it by about a half a length of the football. They'll stretch out the chains, and he will have it by a half a length of the football. So Spring Hill picks up the first down, and they're driving here early in the first quarter. 7:14 to go, no score. Glad you're with us here on Florida Parishes Television, Channel 17. Amite is also in North Louisiana tonight, taking on Evangel. That game is in Shreveport. Hammond High hosting Eunice. Kentwood is playing St. Edmunds under the water tank. This is another give to Coleman, and he has about 5 yards. So first down carries for Spring Hill have netted no less than 4 yards on each carry, and some have been bigger than that. And Independence has to do a better job on first down. This will be the buck sweep. Cutting it back inside for about 1 or 2 is Coleman, and he's stopped by Ryan Joseph, I should say. And a gain of about 1 or 2 on the carry will bring up a third down and call it a long 3, perhaps 4 yards. So the Tigers trying to stiffen here defensively. Spring Hill perhaps probably in 2-down territory most likely. Split to the near side of the screen and a wing. This will be straight handoff to Coleman, and he's about a yard short again of the first down. And again, Spring Hill will have a 4th and short. They converted the last one, and we'll look to convert here on 4th and about 1. Call it a solid 1 yard. Sean Tanner on the tackle for the Tigers. Tanner, a banged up knee, he's been gimpy. He was injured last week against Abbeville, and again, a 4th down situation. And it's no good as the fullback for Spring Hill fell down. He went the wrong way, and Independence gets a big break there as Gates slipped, and we talked about the playing surface is very, very soggy. And Gates was nowhere close to the first down, maybe lost a half a yard, and Independence stiffens there and holds. So both ball clubs moving the football in their opening drives, but both defenses coming up with crucial defensive stops. So Independence with their second opportunity with the football, no score, 5:20 to play. Sieber under center. This will be a draw. This is Dawson on the carry, and he'll push the pile for about 5 yards. So Brandon Dawson, who goes about 215 and squats about 500 pounds, and when he gets that pile moving, he can really push it forward. Right there, the Tigers run the draw play. Sieber probably giving it away a little too soon. If he would wait one more step to hand the football off, that might fool the linebackers a little bit more, but nonetheless, they pick up 5 on first down. Ball at the 37-yard line. Sieber will throw. Fires it out, complete. This is Joseph, and he slips a tackle and has the first down at the 42-yard line. So the out route is open to Lionel Joseph, and the Tigers have a first down. So the Tiger offensive line has done a well of a job in pass protection. Here tonight, Tigers have attempted 5 passes already, and Sieber's had plenty of time so far to throw the football. So 1st and 10, ball at the 42-yard line of Independence. 2 wide receivers to the high side. Here's Sieber on the give to Dawson, and he will have about 1 or 2 yards as he slips a tackle in the backfield and forwards ahead for about 1. So Spring Hill is content to stop the run, and they are making it hard going for Independence. And as we said, they have 2 big guys in there about 280 on the interior of their defensive line, a big defensive end, and Bailey, who goes about 230. So they're a pretty big unit up front. 2nd down and 9. Here's Sieber, 3-step drop, fires it again to Joseph, and it's incomplete. Breaking on the play was Sam Washington, who was an all-state defensive back last year in Class 3A, and he shows why as he breaks on that football, anticipating the out route. And that pass not only broken up, but could have come very close to being intercepted. So 3rd down and 9. Tigers, again, running game is a little bit hampered tonight with Sieber's sore ankle, and he's a big part of the Independence running game, and he's about 50%. So Tigers will try to do it through the air. 3rd down and 9. Sieber on the fake. He'll look. Now he has a receiver wide open as Giacone, and he has the catch down inside the 25-yard line. And David Giacone beats the defensive back on the stop and go, and Sieber on a good play fake lofted it perfectly to David Giacone on the catch to the 20. Correction, that's down to the 15-yard line as Tigers will have it 1st down and 10 at the 15. And again, the field is very dimly lit and it's hard for us to see, and we're about 70 yards from the football, and it's tough going to see here tonight. Here's Sieber on the quick screen. Joseph tries to slip a tackle and does, and has it down inside the 10, gain of about 6 to about the 9-yard line. So a gain of about 6 on the play, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 4 for the Tigers. Ball resting on about the 8-yard line. Call it 2nd down and 3. So the Tigers threatening here, trying to get some points on the scoreboard with 2:57 to play here in the 1st quarter. Here's Sieber on the give. That's Dawson. He'll again hammer forward and has no yards on the carry, maybe a yard at most. So it'll bring up a 3rd down and about 2. Ball at about the 7-yard line. So the Tigers, no question about it, will have 2 opportunities at it here. One advantage for both teams here is that Spring Hill does have a play clock, so that helps the Tigers to get plays in a little bit quicker than relying on the official. Power I formation. Here's Dawson, and he's hitting the backfield, tries to forge forward, but he'll be short of the 1st down, I think, as he is right on about the 5.5-yard line, and it looks like he's going to be about a half a yard short. So Independence is going to have to go for it here, short of the 1st down. So it's 4th and less than a yard, and the Tigers will have to muster some type of penetration up front. They have gotten very little so far against the Spring Hill defensive line. Spring Hill very tough in these situations. Sieber will turn, hand to Dawson, pushes the pile forward, and he should have the 1st down. And they're going to spot it back now. And let's see if they give him the 1st down. I think he should have it. It looked like one official came back in and spotted it back, but no, they'll say it's 1st and goal Tigers, ball at about the 3-yard line. The Tigers have it 1st and goal, ball at the 4-yard line. And this is the area of the field where Spring Hill is very, very tough. As we mentioned, very good run defense. Sieber on the give to Dawson, and he'll push ahead for about a yard. And again, Sieber right there on the give. They're not respecting Sieber at all because he is hurt, and if he is to pull that ball, he could walk into the end zone. So it'll be 2nd down and goal at about the 3 after a gain of 1.
About the 3-yard line.
10 seconds on the play clock, 24 on the game clock here left to play in the first quarter. Ball at the 3. Sieber drops back to throw. He's being rushed, fires wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. And that is Matt Jones, who sneaks over the middle and is open. Nice look by Sieber, as he couldn't find anybody to the outside looking for Joseph or Jaconi. But Matt Jones able to sneak across the middle, and Lumberjacks not picking it up, and Sieber alertly spotting it for the touchdown. The Tigers are on the board with 12 seconds to go in the first quarter, with Sieber kicking the extra point. Snap by Darnell Keith, hold by Joseph. Snap is down, kick is up, and it's off to the right, no good. And Sieber shanks the extra point. But nonetheless, the Tigers with an impressive 69-yard drive, most of it throwing by Antron Sieber. The big play, a deep pass to David Jaconi to the 15-yard line. Tigers punching in and lead it 6-0. And this ball game is brought to you in part by People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC, with 5 offices to serve you in Amite, Kentwood, Greensburg, Franklinton, and a new office in Hammond. That's People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC. And also First Financial Services for all your holiday money needs. A free hammer turkey with all loans from now till Christmas. Just think First Financial Services. That's Hammond and Ponchatoula.
Go Jacks go, and thank you for shopping at Mall Pharmacy, open Monday through Saturday.
So Independence able to draw first blood. They lead it 6-0. Spring Hill, of course, did march the football on their own accord on the ground mostly, or as a matter of fact, all of it on the ground. But were thwarted on a 4th down and 1 at the 31-yard line when Gates slipped in the backfield. The Tigers, in turn, took the ball and marched it down the field and scored. So kicking off for the Tigers will be Darnell Keith. And deep to receive for Spring Hill is the explosive DJ Curry along with Coleman. And this will be a short kick that Curry will take at the 18-yard line. He'll look for break a tackle and does, and is on his feet to about the 46-yard line, and the Tigers pay by kicking it to that young man. He's very explosive, and he has it 1st and 10 for the Jacks at the 46-yard line. And for those of you not familiar, DJ Curry very similar to Kenny Albritton, who played for Independence last year. Very similar in size and speed and ability. Lumberjacks with their second offensive possession. Ball at the 46-yard line. Haygood under center. He'll have a full house backfield. Haygood will play action pass. Looking, fires it. It's incomplete. And on the coverage for the Tigers was number 7, Charles Tofield. And we have a flag, I believe, or do we? Well, that's the end of the first quarter. So the first quarter comes to a close with your score: Independence 6 and Spring Hill nothing. And again, the first half of this ball game, and the entire ball game for that matter, is brought to you tonight in part by Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. Dixie Motors is dedicated to service after the sale. Don't get stuck without a Dixie sticker. Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. That's in Hammond. And also Mike's Glass and Radiator, windshield and radiator repair, or just your annual inspection sticker. Mike's Glass and Radiator, just off Highway 51 in Independence. Also, Field of Dreams Baseball School, owned and operated by Jason Skip Maglio of Independence. And that school is located just off of Cherry Street in Hammond. You can call Jason at 878-9415. They feature all types of instruction, pitching instruction, hitting instruction. They have full arm iron mic pitching machines, and on an annual bases, membership bases, you can join the Field of Dreams Baseball School. So Spring Hill has it, second down and 10, ball at the 46-yard line after the incompletion. Tigers leading 6-0. Haygood under center. He'll turn on the inside handoff, and this one's thwarted as Derek Hunter, I believe, makes the tackle on, let's see who the ball carrier was. That was Adrian Mendenhall, and that play really hurt Independence last week. And this week, the Tigers bound and determined to stop that play. And it only gains a yard, third down and 9, ball at the 46-yard line. Tigers looking to stiffen here. Curry split out to the bottom of your screen. Haygood calls out the signal. Three-step drop on the slant. Ball is caught by Curry, and he's hit short of the first down, and that was a heck of a catch by DJ Curry. And Haygood threw that ball right on the money, but again, ladies and gentlemen, you see the athletic ability of Curry to reach high in the air to snag that pass, and he is one good-looking player. So it'll be fourth down and 3, and they'll bring in Coleman in to punt for Spring Hill, and the Tigers right here need to be wary of a fake or a hard count. Nobody in deep to receive for the Tigers. They'll play defense. Coleman will put a foot into it. It's a high kick, not very deep, and it will hit in the muck and take a Spring Hill roll. And it'll roll down to about the 6 or 7 yard line, and Independence will have it first and 10. And just when you didn't think the ball would be able to roll in this mess, it takes a Spring Hill roll and turns out to be a pretty nice punt by Coleman. So the Tigers on their third possession of the ball game have it with 10:28 to play in the first half, leading 6-0. Sieber with 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen will call for it, hands it off to Dawson. He hammers forward for about 2 or 3 yards, up close to the 10-yard line. And it'll bring up second down and long, and on the tackle for Spring Hill looked like Bailey and company, and also Gore, or Ford, I should say. That's Taraka Ford, big 6'3", 295 in the middle of that Spring Hill defensive front. He is a load. So second down and 8 after a 2-yard gain. Tigers with I formation, 2 split receivers. This is Dawson again, and he has no running room, or actually he'll have about 1 or 2 yards. It'll bring up a third down and about 7. Actually call it a 3-yard gain. It'll be third down and 5. So Independence, a little bit of breathing room here.
Third down and 5 for the Tigers.
Nice Tiger contingent from Tangipahoa Parish making their way up north, and still coming into the stadium. 7 o'clock start here. Sieber on the give. Dawson around the left side, powers his way up for the first down. He'll have it by a couple of yards and has 7 yards. So Brandon Dawson getting his motor running, and the bus is on the loose here, and he just needs to carry the football. And last week didn't get a lot of opportunities as Abbeville didn't present them. He only had 26 yards in the ball game, a season low for him, and he was also banged up a little bit. But the more he carries the football, the better he picks and chooses his holes, and the more powerful he runs. But he looks a little gimpy right here. First down and 10. Tigers, ball at the 17-yard line. Joseph back to throw, fires it to Jones, has it complete, and he's down on a knee at the 26-yard line. And that's about a gain of 6 or 7 yards. And Matt Jones, a big part of the offense here tonight. That's his second reception, had a touchdown earlier. And that's a gain of 7. It'll be second down and 3.
Ball out to the 26-yard line, being second down and 4.
So second and 3, ball at the 26. Tigers need the 29. for the first down. Here's Sieber on the zone. This is Dawson, has a hole, and he'll pound his way up for first down yardage, or close to it, at around the 29-yard line. And Brandon Dawson finding a little bit of room on the perimeter of the Lumberjack defense. Tigers was zone blocking and finding some creases, and Dawson picking up the first down. So 8:09 to play in the first half. Tigers lead it 6-0 on an Antron Sieber to Matt Jones touchdown pass that covered 3 yards. Sieber better hurry here. 7 on the play clock, 5 seconds on the play clock. Here's the give. Sieber keeps on the option, has some running room, and he'll have about 5 or 6 yards. So Independence, who was reluctant to run Veer, does so here in this instance and picks up about 5 as Sieber pushes ahead. Call it 6-yard gain. So Sieber running to his left and picking up 6 yards on that carry. So 2nd down and 5 here. Tigers with the ball at the 36. This will be Sieber. Play action. Looks. Now he fires deep. Has Joseph down there, and the pass is incomplete. That should be interference, but no call, as Giacone is run over by Washington, but they'll call it uncatchable. And they say no. And he was definitely interfered with. It was a question of whether the ball was catchable, and the official in his estimation says it wasn't, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. So Lumberjacks get a bit of a break that time, but again, the ball was over Giacone's head, but that was a very, very close non-call that goes the Lumberjacks' way, and Tigers will have to convert here on 3rd and 4. And a timeout is called by the Independence Tigers. 7:01 to play in the first half. Your score, Independence 6, Spring Hill nothing. And we'll take a break and be back after this timeout. You're watching Florida Parishes Television, Channel 17. And 4, Tigers. 3rd down and 4. Tigers have it. Looking to convert here. And the Tigers jump off sides. Matt Jones jumps a little prematurely as Spring Hill comes up in a cover 2 look with hard corners, each on Joseph and Matt Jones, and Independence is going to have to convert on 3rd and 9 now. So 5-yard penalty. That's the first penalty of the ball game on either ball club. So interesting, Spring Hill comes out in that hard cover 2 look. And let's see if the Tigers decide to exploit the middle of the field here. Now looks like they'll change up coverage as Independence goes to a slot formation. Sieber on the waggle, has time, has his tight end, and the ball is picked, nearly intercepted, and is. As LeBlanc had it go off his hands, and they say he made the great catch. And the ball is intercepted. So they were looking for the tight end, but he wasn't open, and Spring Hill changed up their coverage. And if they run that play previous, it's probably wide open. But with the change in coverage, Spring Hill had it covered, and they got the deflection. The ball was picked off, and the Lumberjacks have the football in pretty good territory here at the Tiger 39-yard line. And this will be the fullback again, and that's Gates, and he has big yardage, about 5 yards to the 34. And he's very quick hitting that hole, and the Tigers have had trouble stopping the fullback here tonight. And that's been the bulk of Spring Hill's yardage in this ball game.
2nd down and a long 5.
So 2nd down and 5, ball at the 34. Here's another quick hitter. That's Gates again, and he's up close to a first down, perhaps about a half a yard short. And they are just hammering it right up the middle, and they are getting 5 yards a chunk. So it'll be 3rd down and 1 here for Spring Hill. And they have had 3 3rd down and shorts here tonight. Picked up one of them. Tigers turned them away on another. And now have it 3rd and 1 again. Ball at the 30-yard line. About 2 feet to go for the first down. Haygood sends a man in motion, calls for it. This is a pitch out. And getting some running room is Coleman on the outer half. And right there he had to dodge a tackle in the backfield. And picked up about 2 yards, but that was a risky play for Spring Hill. And very easily could have been stopped for a loss if they could have hemmed him up in the backfield. But nonetheless, he picks up the first down. So after the Tiger turnover, they have their backs against the wall. Spring Hill is threatening to score here. This will be the fullback, Gates, again, and again he has about 5 yards. And they are just hammering the gut play right at Independence, and they can't stop it. And Gates is hitting through there in that little bubble real quick. And they're getting it trapped up pretty good, and the Independence linebackers having trouble coming up and supporting. And he gives 4 yards, a 2nd down and 6. Man in motion. This will be a quick hitter to Coleman. He's hit in the backfield and dropped by Derek Hunter, or that's just Phil Tador on the blitz. And Derek Hunter on the stop. And a loss on the play back to the 27-yard line. So Derek Hunter reading that all the way and stopping it for the loss. It'll be 3rd down and 9. Washington out on Otto Bonds on the right side of the screen. Let's see if they try the fade route here to him. They're going to run quick hitter. This is Coleman, and he's short of the first down. Picks up about 3 or 4 yards, and it'll be 4th and 5 or 6. And Spring Hill will go for it here with under 4 minutes to play in the first half. Curry to the bottom of your screen, 4th down and a long 5. This is Haygood, 3-step drop, fires, intercepted. Intercepted by Charles Tofield, who stood right there on the slant and anticipated it all the way and made the catch, much to the delight of the Independence coaches. As Charles Tofield, if you ever seen him, it's the reason why he's playing defensive back, but he makes that catch there. Charles Tofield, one heck of a player for the Independence Tigers, and he will really hit you, but right there, stepping in from a strong safety position, making the interception. So again, Spring Hill hammers the ball for some yardage down to the 24, but are intercepted. Tigers will have it. 3:36 to play in the first half. This will be Sieber on the give to Dawson, and he has nothing on the play. A yard at best.
He picks up a yard, stopping there by Wallace and Bailey.
So 3:15 and counting. Tigers with a football, trying to march it out of the shadows of their own end zone. After the big turnover on the interception by Charles Tofield. Sieber, 3-step drops, looks, fires it complete. This is Matt Jones again, and that's about a 3 or 4 yard gain. Washington on the tackle, really coming up hard to support. And they'll call it a 5-yard gain, and it'll be a 3rd down and about 6 for Independence. About a 4-yard gain. 10 seconds on the play clock. Tigers have twin receivers to the near side. Receiver sends Dawson in motion, calls for it, three-step drop, swings it out to Dawson. He's hit and dropped immediately for a loss on the play, and that'll be a loss of about 4. So Independence is going to have to punt it away inside of 2 minutes. And Spring Hill coming up quickly to support that time. That's a nice play by the Spring Hill Lumberjacks, and we couldn't quite see who made the tackle. So Independence, who shanked the last punt, Antron Sieber did, and he's going to have to punt it standing at about his own 3. So Spring Hill looks to get very good field position after this kick, and a flag has been thrown. If that's against Independence, it's going to back them up even further. That's probably on Darnell Keith for moving the football, and that's what it is. Darnell Keith picks up the personal, and that's something that you really don't want to see there. So that's going to send Sieber into his own end zone to kick. So Spring Hill's going to get this football in good field position, and it's going to be up to the Independence defense to keep them out of the end zone before the end of the first half here. 2 deep safeties, that's Washington and Dion Thomas. This is a short kick that will hit and bounce and takes an Indy roll to the 44-yard line. So it looked like it was kicked straight up in the air, but it carried a little bit more than that. So Spring Hill have it 1st and 10 with 1:15 to play.
Minute 15 left in the first half.
What has been a rapidly played first half with Independence on top 6-0. But Spring Hill has threatened several times in this ball game here in the first half. Spring Hill, I believe, has all 3 timeouts at their disposal, so they have plenty of time here. Be Haygood, he'll be hit, but now fires it down, and it's incomplete, and nearly a great one-handed catch by DJ Curry, who nearly stole that away from 3 Indy Tigers. And that was almost one miraculous catch, and again, I harken back to Kenny Albritton from Independence last year, and is very similar athletically to DJ Curry. So Curry comes out of the ball game, and they'll bring in Washington with 1:08 to play with 2 wideouts set. This will be Haygood, fires it, incomplete. Tried to hit the tight end over the middle. That was actually the wingback, Coleman, and it falls incomplete. Tigers had it covered. They'll bring up 3rd down and 10, 1:04 to play. Third down and 10, ball at the 44-yard line. This will be Haygood on the pass. It's stopped. Gates is stopped in the backfield for a loss. And as Charles Tofield, who read it all the way and stopped Gates for a loss, and will bring up 4th down. And Spring Hill will have to punt the football here with 46 seconds and counting. And the Tigers will probably, I'm sure, not send anybody back deep and just play defense. Spring Hill's going to let this thing run all the way down and kick it with very little time. Tigers will play defense here. Just try not to give up any type of fake. This is a pretty good kick. It's going to hit at about the 12 and roll and into the end zone. So the Tigers will just down it right there and go into halftime with a 6-0 lead. And all things considered, Independence has played very well here in the first half. Even though the score is just 6-0, they have played very, very well and have moved the ball very efficiently. Spring Hill, very good defensive football team. They knew that coming in. They had a big defensive struggle last week with Benton, also a defensive struggle with Winsboro in the first round, a 13-12 winner. That game also in overtime. And during the regular season, most of their ball games were defensive oriented. Seaver will take a knee here, and he does. And that will be the final play of the first half with your score: Independence 6, Spring Hill nothing. We're going to take a break, come back with the halftime show. The Independence Tiger Band will perform, and after that, we'll come back with the second half kickoff. You're watching Florida Parishes Television, Channel 17. Mark Willoughby back at halftime. The Independence Tiger Band getting set to perform, and as they do, we'll hear from some of our sponsors as tonight's game brought to you in part by People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC, with 5 offices to serve you in Amite, Kentwood, Greensburg, Franklinton, and a new office in Hammond. That's People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC. Also tonight's game brought to you in part by Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. That's Dixie Motors, dedicated to service after the sale. Don't get stuck without a Dixie sticker. That's Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole in Hammond. And also First Financial Services of all your holiday money needs. A free ham or turkey with all loans from now till Christmas. Just think First Financial Services. That's Hammond and Ponchatoula. Also Mike's Glass and Radiator. They have windshield and radiator repair or just your annual inspection sticker. Mike's Glass and Radiator, just off of Highway 51 in Independence. And once again, Field of Dreams Baseball School. That'll be opening up soon as Jason Skip Baglio gets underway with full-arm pitching machines, 3 full-size batting cages, a regulation Major League diamond, and plenty of high school and college and pro instructors coming in to give all their students instruction. That's Field of Dreams Baseball School. Membership basis, call Skip Baglio at 878-9415. And welcome back to Spring Hill High School. Independence holding a 6-0 lead in the first half over the homestanding Lumberjacks. The Tigers playing very solidly in the first half. Antron Sieber doing most of the damage through the air. The ground game did get untracked a little bit late in the first half. Brandon Dawson getting some nice runs for the Tigers. And the lone touchdown of the game came on a 3-yard touchdown pass from Sieber to Matt Jones. Sieber on a nice look on third down, found Jones over the middle into the end zone for the only points of the first half. The extra point was wide right, and Independence holding a 6-0 lead. Spring Hill did threaten a couple of times. One on their first offensive drive. They drove down inside Tiger territory before being turned away on fourth down. Again, put together another drive after a turnover. Again, Independence held on downs, and Independence held one other time and forced a Spring Hill punt. So Tiger defense doing a much better job tonight than they did last week against Abbeville against the run. And that's something defensive coordinator Sammy Messina is very happy about. But we still have another half to play here tonight, and Spring Hill, a very explosive football team. They have excellent athletes, and they are very, very dangerous offensively. Antron Sieber will kick it off to start the second half. Deep to receive will be DJ Curry for the Lumberjacks, along with, that's number 41, DT Grisby. So we have DJ and DT deep to receive for Spring Hill. So Sieber will kick it with both deep men standing at about their 7.
Curry and Grisby in to receive for the Lumberjacks.
Sieber's kick is deep, and this will be Curry. Will let it bounce and picks it up at the 1. Stumbles around. He has some running room and will be hemmed in at about the 12-yard line. So the kick hit at about the 5 and died at the 1. That allowed the Tiger coverage to get down on Curry, who's outstanding speed. But the slow track didn't enable him to get outside, and the Tigers hem him in at about the 12 or 13-yard line. So an outstanding kick by Sieber, and he was in there to kick that one into the end zone. But he does have that heavily taped left ankle, so it's tough for him to kick tonight. He didn't kick off the first time they kicked off. So Spring Hill on the offense first here in the second half. Full house backfield for the Lumberjacks. This will be Gates on the carry, and he stopped for no gain. So Independence right there, a little bit tougher on that fullback trap to Gates, and they hold him for no gain. So Independence stiffens there on first down. It's second down and 10 after no gain. Ball at the 13-yard line. Washington is your receiver to the bottom of the screen. Again, full house backfield. 2 tight ends for the Jacks. This will be the tailback, Coleman on the carry, and he has no gain, maybe a yard on the play. And it'll bring up third down and 9. And put Spring Hill in a long, third and long situation and perhaps a throwing down. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors tonight. People's Bank of Louisiana, Dixie Motors, First Financial Services, Mike's Glass and Radiator, and also Field of Dreams Baseball School for sponsoring tonight's ball game. Again, full house backfield. This will be inside trap. This is Coleman. He'll fight Thomas, and he stops short of the first down after he wiggles away for about 4 or 5 yards. Stopped by Hunter and company for the Tigers, and Spring Hill will be in a punting situation, 4th and 5. You can hear assistant coach Mike Young all the way across the field hollering, "Do not jump," telling this Tiger defensive front not to jump off sides here. Otto Bonds, the lone deep safety for the Tigers. Looks like Independence going after this one. They have 11 at the line of scrimmage. Low snap, and the kick is nearly blocked, but not. This will be Bonds. He'll field it at midfield, and he's hit and dropped right there in his tracks at the 49-yard line. And the Tigers did everything but block that punt. They had every opportunity to, but the one thing you didn't want to do is rough the kicker. You give Spring Hill a first down, and they pulled up a little bit short and couldn't get it, but the kick gets away for about 35 yards. And the Tigers have it near midfield at their 49-yard line. So good field position to start the second half for Independence. 9:53 to go here in the third quarter. Jacks have 7 close to the line of scrimmage. Here's Sieber, back to throw, looking, has some room to the left, and he's going to hammer away for about 5 or 6 yards. So Sieber, who has limited mobility, is able to find his way for about 6. And he's played on guts the last 2 weeks. And pretty much guts alone, and he is getting a play on the sidelines and back in. And he's a little bit more mobile this week than last week. Last week, he could barely walk.
It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Tigers.
So call it a 6-yard gain, 2nd down and 4, ball at the 45 of Spring Hill. Sieber on a 3-step drop, looking, firing, incomplete as Joseph slips down on the coverage as Washington, who was up on him tight. And the Tigers will have it 3rd down and 4. So Spring Hill tightening up their coverage a bit here after the first quarter, in which Independence torched them through the air, so they've tightened it up a little bit. And Antron Sieber has had very little room to fit the football in there. Washington, outstanding defensive back, as is Curry and company. Sieber, play action, looking, fires it, incomplete as it's dropped. Looked like that was Joseph, who couldn't handle it. He had the football for the first down, but the ball kicked off his shoulder pads and fell incomplete. Nice look by Sieber, who was flushed out of the pocket and saw Joseph settle in the middle of the field where the soft spot was and could not complete the pass. So Spring Hill does the job defensively, and they'll get the football back. So Independence unable to move it more than the 6 yards on the first scramble by Sieber. High snap, Sieber gets it down and puts a decent foot into this one. This will be Washington from his 9. And he has a little bit of running room and is hit and dropped at the 18-yard line. So good coverage by the Tigers. That punt covers, about 34 yards or 36 yards, and about 8 yards on the return, where Spring Hill will have it 1st and 10. 6-0 your score. The lone score was a 69-yard drive culminated by a Sieber to Matt Jones touchdown covering 3 yards, and that's been it in this ball game. First half was very rapid. Backs in the backfield in the wing tee set. Here's the give to the fullback, and he fumbled on the play. Independence falls on it, and it looks like they have it. They do at the 19-yard line. So the ball comes loose, and I can't see who fell on it, but it looks like an interior lineman for the Tigers. That is David Copeland, the defensive end, who comes up with the fumble recovery. So the Tigers in good shape here at the 19, but they need to be able to put one in the end zone.
Tigers recover on the 20-yard line.
They have pretty much dominated the ball game tonight, but only have one score to show for it. And I know Coach Baglio would like to put another one in the end zone with an opportune situation here, 1st and 10 from the 19. They'll have double coverage on Joseph here on the outside. Here's Sieber on the give to Dawson. Big running room left side, down inside the 15 to the 12. And Dawson has 7 or 8 on first down. So Spring Hill has had to come out of their cocoon and double cover Joseph. That has opened up the field a little bit. They've had to back off and play pass coverage. And Dawson's able to exploit that with some running room and 8 yards on first down. So it'll be 2nd down and 2, ball at about the 12. Sieber on this give. This is Dawson. Big hole over the left side. Should have the first down at about the 9-yard line. So Sieber gives it to Dawson, and Dawson is doing what he does best, downhill running at 215 pounds. He's quite a load and has a ball inside the 10 at the 9, 1st and goal. And again, the Tigers have it first and goal from the 9, and that was the case earlier in the ball game. And it's always tough going when you get the ball first and goal at that area. It's always tough. Here's the give to Dawson. Big hole inside the 5-yard line to the 4, to the 3.
Up to about the 4-yard line.
Where it'll be 2nd down and 3 from the 3-yard line. A goal from the 3. And all of a sudden, the Tiger offensive line, who was felt a little bit humiliated last week, only getting 7 yards net rushing in the ball game last week, felt like they had something to prove here tonight against a very formidable Spring Hill Lumberjacks club. It's Dawson again, right up the middle, hammers it into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers, with 7:42 to play in the 3rd quarter. Now let's see if Independence elects to go for 2 here. A lot of times you got to be careful. I think Coach Baggs will go for 2, but a lot of times you're better off just kicking it, because that point could be a key later in the ball game if you don't make the 2-point conversion here. But they're going to go for the 2 from the 3-yard line. Giacone is your lone split end to the right of your screen. This will be Sieber. Bootleg action, looking, can't find anybody. He'll run it into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And the Tigers lead it 14-0 with 7:41 to play in the 3rd quarter. And at this time, we'd like to hear again from our fine sponsors who have graciously supported high school football in Tangipahoa Parish during the 1998 season, and they are People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC, with 5 offices to serve you at Avey, Kentwood, Greensburg, Franklinton, and a new office in Hammond. That's People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC. Also, Dixie Motors in Hammond, home of no rigmarole. Dixie Motors is dedicated to service after the sale. Don't get stuck without a Dixie sticker. Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. 7:41 to play. Tigers able to pounce on a Spring Hill turnover and go up by 2 touchdowns, 14-0. With 7:41 to play in the 3rd quarter, but Spring Hill, as we mentioned, still very explosive, and they have weapons, ladies and gentlemen, offensively, so you can never count your chickens too soon if you're a Tiger fan, and they have to continue to play well here in this ball game. Sieber will kick it off. Curry deep to receive. And this kick will scribble out of bounds, I believe, and I think Spring Hill will just go ahead and take that one at the 35. Sieber's had trouble kicking the football tonight. He shanked a punt earlier in the ball game. He missed an extra point. He sees that kickoff go off the side of his foot. Normally he kicks the ball into the end zone on a regular basis, but again, his left ankle heavily taped, and it's hard for him to get a good plant. And that's why he didn't kick off the first kick of the ball game. So Spring Hill will have it 1st and 10 at the 35 after the kick out of bounds. The Tigers have to continue to play solid defense. Washington to the bottom of your screen. To the top is number 25, Virgil Sullivan. Lone setback. This is back to pass. Haygood. He's going to run for it, and he's sacked. He's brought down from behind by Antoine Smith. And what looked like promising running room for Haygood was snuffed out by Antoine Smith for only a 2-yard gain. So the Tigers got after Haygood, and what looked like what could have been big 1st down yardage, only a 2-yard gain. So DJ Curry will check back in for Spring Hill along with DT Grisby. 2nd and 8, ball at the 37. Curry at the bottom of your screen, lone coverage on Devarius Bess. Haygood on a 5-step drop, looking. He's going to try to run again, gets outside, and will have 1st down yardage, and is knocked out of bounds right around midfield at the 49. And Gerald Franklin is hurt for the Tigers at about the 37. And he gets up, but again, Independence with great coverage and a good pass rush, forcing Haygood to run. And he's able to scramble out for first down yardage and a gain of 13. That's the longest gain of the night for Spring Hill. The last thing you want to do if you're Independence is let Spring Hill drive here and put on a score. This will be the fullback, Gates, straight ahead for about 3. So Independence doing a much better job on the interior on that fullback trap to Gates. Picked up big yardage in the first half. And that's a first down gain that I know Sammy Messina will be happy with, just a 3-yard gain. You'd like him shorter than that, but he'll take it. Haygood back to throw, looks and fires, has his receiver open, complete, short of the first down. He picks up about 2 or 3 on the carry, on the reception. That's Washington. And it'll be third down and about 3. Ball will be spotted at the Tiger 42 or 3 yard line. Third down and 3, ball at the 43. Spring Hill threatening after the Tiger touchdown. This will be Gates. He's hitting the backfield for no gain. A loss on the play of about 2, and it'll bring up fourth down, and the Lumberjacks will have an interesting decision here to either go for it or try to just go ahead and punt it and play field position, and I think they'll go ahead and punt it. Still no panic time yet for Spring Hill. They give him pretty good spot on the play and call it only a loss of 1. So it's fourth down and 4. And the Tigers again will just have one man back deep. That's Otto Bonds, and they'll play defense here and looking for the fake. Don't want to jump off sides. This is a shank, or a pretty decent kick that'll bounce and take another Spring Hill roll down to about the 6 or 7 yard line. And that's the second time that Spring Hill has pinned Independence deep inside their own territory. As Coleman with a nice kick has the Tigers backed up. Again, tonight's ball game brought to you by First Financial Services for all your holiday money needs. A free hammer turkey with all loans from now until Christmas. Just think First. First Financial Services, Hammond and Ponchatoula. Also, Mike's Glass and Radiator, located in Independence. Dawson, the lone setback. Sieber turns, hands it off on the power play to the right side, and he has about 1, if any. So the Tigers will try to just hammer it out here and get some room to try to kick the football. They would like some first downs to keep that clock running, 4.5 and counting. And they're going to call that a loss on the play of about 1. So it'll bring up second down and 11.
Going to bring up second and 10.
Outstanding crowd on hand here tonight in Spring Hill. The Lumberjack faithful out in massive force here tonight. They have a very large home side of the stadium, and they are here supporting their Jacks. This will be Dawson on the straight handoff again, and he'll have 1 or 2 yards on the carry. And it'll bring up a third down and long situation for the Tigers. So Spring Hill starting to stiffen defensively in that interior front. They have 2 big guys in the middle, Takara Ford, and also, as we look in there, Bailey, number 90, and others. So third down and 9. Sieber will drop straight back, looking, fires, and passes incomplete, and hit hard is Joseph, or is that Giacone? And Giacone was leveled by Sam Washington on the play. So Spring Hill stiffens after the nice punt by Coleman, and Independence is going to have to kick it out of their end zone once again. Sam Washington really came up hard on Jaconi. You had to go up high in the air to receive that pass. And it was incomplete. Sieber deep to kick. Low snap. Picks it up, and it's a line drive. This will bounce and be fielded there by Thomas. Has some running room. Breaks outside and will be hemmed in at about the 19 or 18-yard line. So Spring Hill with momentum now with 3 minutes to play in the third quarter after the fine return by Deion Thomas. So you can never get too high in this ball game, even with a 2-touchdown lead. Now Spring Hill threatening, ball deep in Tiger territory at the 18. The Tiger defense really needs to stiffen here. Haygood under center. He'll play action fake, looking, fires it, has Curry open, incomplete. Had his man down there, but Curry got a little turned around, guarded on the play by Tofield, I believe. As we were blocked out of this corner by some fans, but nonetheless, good coverage, but the pass a little bit overthrown. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Best defending on the play for the Tigers, bring up 2nd down.
Also Devarius Best down there on the coverage. And now Washington will come down to the far side of the screen. Haygood under center. Looks it over, now turns and hands off. And big running room. And into the end zone for the touchdown, but a flag is down, and I think this is going to be a hold on Spring Hill. Looks like Washington may have held at about the 5-yard line. And this one is going to come back and push Spring Hill back to about the 15. So Washington was guilty with a hold. And let's see where they will spot this ball. It's usually from the spot of the foul. And let's see where it came from. I'm going to say the hold came at the 5. That's going to back them up to the 15. For the 14-yard line, it'll be a 2nd down. So it'll be a 2nd down and about 6 or 7 to go. Washington had a pretty good stalk block out there, and we really were blocked out and couldn't see. But apparently had some shoulder pads and was guilty of the hold. So at least for now, the Tigers get a reprieve. The Spring Hill found a little bit right there on that counter play. 2:47 and counting, 2nd down and a long 6. Haygood play action again, looking, firing end zone. It's complete for the touchdown to Curry, who catches it in the back of the end zone for the Lumberjack touchdown. But another flag is down, and let's see, it's incomplete or interference on the Tigers. And Spring Hill comes right back after the short Tiger, or the good kickoff return, and answer with the touchdown, and it's 14-6.
Lumberjacks have a player down on the field.
Injured Lumberjack on the field is the quarterback, Haygood, and he's up under his own power. Took a big lick on the play, but that was a nice throw as he delivered the fade in the back of the end zone, and a heck of a catch. And again, I believe that was Curry on the reception. I couldn't quite tell who it was because we're blocked out. We can't see when the ball was down in that corner.
Haygood shaking up on the play.
So Coleman in for the extra point. Tigers by 6, 14-6. Whitlock to hold. Snap is down, kick is up, and will be short. And no good. That kick didn't even have a chance as it barely cleared the line. And it barely reached the end zone. So that's a big miss by Spring Hill. And that gives the Tigers a touchdown and a 2-point conversion advantage at this point. So big miss there by Spring Hill. 2:42 to play in the third quarter. Again, your sponsors, Mike's Glass and Radiator with windshield repair, radiator repair, or just your annual inspection sticker. Mike's Glass and Radiator, just off Highway 51 in Independence.
Doctors Clinic of Spring Hill has provided the highest quality medical services for our community since the early 50s. Clinic doctors are on the sidelines at our football games, and they annually provide over $20,000 worth of free sports physical.
Tigers picked up a touchdown after a Spring Hill fumble, and Spring Hill comes back and picks up a touchdown after a big punt return by Dion Thomas to set them up in great field position. The touchdown pass from Haygood to Curry, I believe, for the Spring Hill score, and it's 14-6. 2:42 to play in the third quarter. Bonds and Tofield, also Jarvis Dunn deep to receive for the Tigers. Coleman to kick for Spring Hill. Kick is a high kick that will come down to Bonds at about the 13 or 14 yard line. Has a big running room, breaks outside and is down, and the Tigers will have it there at about the 25 yard line. Centel Jefferson on the tackle. He was hit pretty hard, was Otto Bonds. So the Tigers will have it at the 25 yard line. First down and 10. We'll see if the Tigers can recapture the momentum that Spring Hill, I should say, just recaptured from Independence. Spring Hill very accustomed to these defensive struggles. They've had 2 overtime games already in the playoffs this year. Charles Tofield, the lone set, or in the tailback position for Independence. It's be Dawson on the quick trap, and he'll have about 2 or 3 yards. Call it 2 yards on the gain. And it'll bring up second down and 8. Dawson a little slow getting up, now is up under his own power, back into the huddle. Second down and 8 for Independence, ball at the 27 yard line. Again, Tofield is your tailback. That's actually Dawson in the backfield for Independence. Second down and 8. Here's Sieber on a 3-step drop. Looking on the hitch and go. He'll have to run with the football. Shakes a tackler and is across the 30-yard line to the 31, short of the first down. And Spring Hill lucky they didn't get a defensive holding call on Sam Washington as Joseph was trying to run the stop and go, and Washington got a good piece of jersey and kept Lionel Joseph from turning it upfield. And it'll be third down and 4, a minute and a half to play in the third quarter. Spring Hill right now has the momentum on their side after the touchdown and have the Tigers in a 3rd and 4 situation. Sieber on the option keep. Has big running room around the left side. Cuts it outside, has running room down the left sideline, 35-30, and is out of bounds for the Tiger first down to the Spring Hill 30-yard line. So the Tigers, who were reluctant to run option, and they're going to say it was out of bounds at the 34. Tigers reluctant to run option, do so there, and Sieber has a big gainer off the left side, and that gain was about 36 or 37 yards on the carry. That's part of the game the Tigers sorely missed last week. And Dawson's a little gimpy for the Tigers. He's looks like he's shaken up. This will be quick screen to Joseph. Catches the ball, cuts it outside, and a flag is down. Tigers called for holding, and that's a makeup call for earlier. They called a hold on Matt Jones, and I got to think that's a makeup call for the holding call that Spring Hill got on the goal line. Looked like a pretty good stalk block out in front by Jones, but they say got some jersey. And the Tigers will be penalized.
And it's a holding call.
So what has been a very a penalty-free football game starting to turn there tonight as both teams being flagged here in the second half for holding. That's going to push the Tigers back to the 37-yard line. So that's a big penalty for Independence. They would have had a first down on the play. But, again, that's just a tough call right there on Matt Jones. But the official right there on the play made the call, and it's first down and 14. Sieber, play action pass, looking, has Joseph open, catches the football to the 30 for the 27-yard line, picks up about 10 on the play, and it'll bring up a second down and call it about 3 or 4. So give him about 11 on the reception. Second down and 3. Ball at the 27-yard line. Here's Sieber on the zone. Dawson has running room around the left side. Turns the corner inside the 20 to the 15 and has the first down. Dawson turning the corner, has the first down, and I believe he's hurt. I think that's Dawson down along the Independence sideline at around the 12 or 13. If that is Dawson, that is a huge injury. Now let's see who that is. And Dawson just may be winded. He had a hyperextended knee. They have 2 Independence players down. Dawson and somebody else, and I can't see who it is. But Independence has battled injuries the last couple of weeks. Sieber's been hurt. The tight end, Jeremy Cooper's been hurt. Dawson's had a gimpy knee. And this looks like Barry Whitmer down, or Gary Rishu for Independence. Rishu's up, Dawson is up, and Independence a little short-handed here offensively as Rishu, I believe, is down. He's going to have to come off the field, and Independence may have to call a timeout here. No, they won't. And let's see who will come in his place. Probably Craig McGee, I would think, for Independence. But that's a big loss if Rishu can't play, because he is a big force along that Independence offensive line. 5'10", 265, a sophomore.
For the Tigers on about the 15-yard line.
Sieber again on the zone. Dawson has running room again. Breaks a tackle inside the 5 to the 4, and Dawson running hard and has 10 on the play, and looks like another first down inside the 5-yard line. The Independence offensive line, who were much maligned last week and received a lot of criticism by a lot of Tiger faithful, have battened it down here, and that will be the final play of the third quarter. And we're going to take it to the other end of the field, as that will be the final play of the third quarter. With your score, Independence 14, Spring Hill 6. And we're going to take a much-needed break. Back after this, you're watching high school football on FPTV, Channel 17. We head to fourth quarter action from Spring Hill, Louisiana. Tigers with a 14-6 lead and the football at about the 4-yard line. Tigers with a nice offensive drive here after Spring Hill scored a touchdown to pull within 8. A failed 2-point conversion, and that's the margin, 14-6 your score. Tigers with a first down and goal, trying to punch one in. Sieber turns, hands to Dawson. He'll plow into the line of scrimmage and push it forward down to the 3. That'll be a gain of 1 or 2 on the carry, and that'll bring up a second down and goal. So that ball will be now on about the 2.5, 3-yard line, second and goal. Tigers would like to punch one in here and go up by 2 scores. Again, Spring Hill, as we said, very explosive with big play capability. Second down and goal. Sieber zone. Dawson, he'll hammer his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. And it's been Brandon Dawson for the Tigers who has stepped to the plate here, along with the offensive line, led by Big Aaron Lips, Gary Rishu, who's injured but back in, Barry Whitmer, big senior Brett Anzalo, tight end Ryan LeBlanc, and others who have opened up some holes for Independence. And again, ladies and gentlemen, a sophomore-dominated offensive line. Let's not forget Ryan Gazzarda, the center. Sophomore-dominated offensive line. They will be back for the next couple of years. So Sieber with the extra point, and this is a big extra point. Can put them up by 15. Snap is down, kick is blocked, and no good. So that will make it a 14-point lead, and now Spring Hill doesn't have to try any two-point conversions. That extra point would have been good. It would have forced Spring Hill to score twice and at least make a two-point conversion on one of them. And any type of failed conversion would make them have to score 3 times. But the extra point was blocked, and the Lumberjacks are still hanging in there, down 20-6, 11:15 to play in the ball game. And Sieber will kick off for Independence. Spring Hill had a big run back on a punt by Dion Thomas to set up their only score of the night. And they have Grigsby and Curry back there now, and both of those guys can really run. Sieber set to kick for Indy. It's 11:15, and we're in the fourth quarter. Sieber will put a foot into it. It's a shank kick off the side of his foot again. Sieber's had trouble kicking the football, and he's beside himself. And normally he puts every ball in the end zone. And that's going to give Spring Hill pretty good field position at the 35. And that's not what Independence wanted on that kickoff. They wanted that ball into the end zone and have Spring Hill backed up at the 20. That's just less field they have to cover here for the Tigers. For Spring Hill, I mean. $11:15 to play in the ball game. Spring Hill trails 20-6. But they can throw the football, and that has been evidence here tonight. They have a touchdown pass on the board. Haygood under center. He'll drop straight back and look. He's being rushed heavily by Antoine Smith, and this pass is incomplete. He tried to find Washington, who came back to the football. Would have been a loss on the play had he caught it, but it falls incomplete. Antoine Smith on the pressure. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. So Spring Hill will probably be going to the air predominantly here for the remainder of this ball game, or at least until they get back in it, or if they get back in it. Ryan Joseph late checking onto the field. This will be inside handoff. Big running room for the Jacks. Breaks outside. Still on his feet and down to the 42-yard line. So Spring Hill picks up a 1st down, and they come right back on the play and have it at the 43-yard line. Spring Hill still plenty of time to play in the ball game. They have no time to panic if you're a Lumberjack fan. Be a turn and a give to Gates, and he'll have about 6 to about the 37-yard line. So the Tigers can't afford to get a little sloppy here defensively. Can't afford to let Spring Hill come back and answer quickly, because there's still 10 minutes plus to play in the ball game. Second down and 4. Haygood will turn, hand off, and he slips and falls for no gain. And that is, can't see who that was on the carry, but he slipped down trying to make a cut. And that looked like Thomas or Coleman, the carrier. Couldn't see who it was. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4. And again, Tigers need a big defensive play. Under 10 minutes to play, 9:38 and counting. Haygood looks to pass. He's hit and sacked for a loss. Back to the 44-yard line, and that is Copeland and Smith and company on the tackle. And it'll bring up 4th down and about 12. To the 44-yard line, and Spring Hill probably will have to go for it here. They're going to give him forward progress all the way to the 43. So it'll be much more attainable here. 4th down and 9. They're going to send the punting unit in. And that's very odd. And you can look for a fake here if you're an Independence Tiger. 4th and 9. Tigers will play regular defense. Kick again is a good punt. This is going to bounce and roll again and be good field position for Spring Hill. They'll down at about the 7. So Spring Hill has been able to down 3 punts tonight inside the Tiger 10. And they get one more at the 6 or 7 yard line. Tonight's ball game brought to you in part by People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC, with 5 offices to serve you better. Amite, Kentwood, Greensburg, Franklinton, and a new office in Hammond. That's People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC. Today's game also brought to you in part by Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. That's Dixie Motors in Hammond. Don't get caught without a Dixie sticker. 1st and 10, Tigers ball at their own 6. This will be Dawson, and a flag goes down as he is stopped for about a 2-yard gain. And all of a sudden, flags starting to fly here in the second half. And that's going to back the Tigers up inside their 5-yard line should Spring Hill choose to take the penalty. But they may decline this and take the down with the clock under 9 minutes to play. They may want the down instead. We'll have to see if the yardage was worth it. But it's only half the distance, and that's only going to be, basically it's going to make it a 1st and 12, so the Tigers really get an extra down there. And that's about a 40-second advantage for Independence. I'm not sure why Spring Hill didn't decline that penalty. He only gained about a yard or 2 on the play. So that gives the Tigers 1 extra down here, and that's big. That's big. Ball at the 4-yard line. 1st down, Tigers. Sieber watching the play clock. It's down to 2. Quarterback sneak, and he'll hammer it out for about 4 yards. 2 or 3 maybe. I couldn't really tell as Sieber just snuck it right up the middle. And that'll bring up 2nd down and about 9 yards to go for the 1st down. Inside of 8 minutes and counting. Independence will take their time. 8 seconds on the game clock. Sieber calls for the football. Movement along the line as Dawson breaks a tackle and has about 5 or 6. No flag on the play. It looked like Spring Hill might have jumped off sides, but no offsides call, and it's about a 4-yard gain, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 4. So that'll run the clock inside of 7 minutes to play. And a 1st down here would be huge for Independence.
3rd down and 4 for the Tigers.
Big 3rd down here for the Tigers. Ball at the 13-yard line facing 3rd and 4. Sieber calls for it. Here's Dawson on the zone. He'll be hit at the line of scrimmage and has maybe a yard or no gain on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down for Independence, and they'll have to punt it away again from deep in their own territory. The last time they did, it was Deion Thomas with a big punt return that set up Spring Hill's only touchdown. So no gain for Dawson on the play. It's 4th and 4, but the clock will run inside of 5 minutes. Tigers by 14, 20-6. And Sieber to punt here. High snap. Sieber gets a shank punt again off the right side of his foot, and it'll go out of bounds. And again, Spring Hill with excellent field position at about the 28-yard line. So Antron Sieber having trouble kicking the ball tonight. And Spring Hill in excellent field position here. And I think they have all 3 of their timeouts. So they're still in pretty good shape, or as good a shape as you can be in, trailing by 14. Haygood under center. He'll turn and hand it off the left side. Big running room by Thomas, or can't see who that was. Another Tigers down on the field. And looks like Ryan Joseph down, or Mike Washington down. He must have gotten clipped or something, or blocked downfield, because he was nowhere around the play. That's a 9-yard gain on 1st down. And Spring Hill is just going to be content here to run. They still feel like they have plenty of time, and Independence has to call a timeout. So timeout Tigers with 5:17 to play. Your score: Independence 20, Spring Hill 6. Back after this timeout. You're watching FPTV, Channel 17. Spring Hill trailing by 14, but they have the football and moving in Tiger territory at about the 20-yard line with 2nd down and 2 after a shank punt by Antron Sieber. And even though they're trailing by 14, they're still very much in this ball game. Haygood under center. He'll turn, hands it right up the gut, and he breaks a tackle and still on his feet. And running hard down to the 12 is Gates. So Gates on the carry picks up the Spring Hill 1st down to the 12. The Spring Hill not panicking at all here, and they are going to try to punch this in and play defense and try to get the ball back. Here's the fade to Curry again, and it's overthrown, intended for Curry. Bonds on the coverage. Mike Washington helping out over there, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. And it was Curry on the fade earlier for the touchdown, and that's a big weapon for Spring Hill. So 4:52 to play. Ball at the 13-yard line. This is the fullback again. This time he has nothing as Gates is stopped for no gain. And he'll bring up 3rd down and 10. And you can definitely look for the Lumberjacks to go to the air here. They'll call it a gain of 1, 3rd and 9. 4:33 and counting. Look for Curry or Washington to be around this football. They'll split receiver out to the left. That's Coleman. Haygood on the fade, on the slant. That's Coleman. He got it for the touchdown. And that is outstanding play calling by Spring Hill. What they did is they split Coleman out and just ran the slant inside. There was no safety help for Independence because they had him rotated over to help out on Curry and Washington, and that was wide open. So that's a heck of a play call by Benny Reeder and company for Spring Hill. And this is a big extra point for the Lumberjacks. If it's good, it'll pull them within 7. Kick is up, and it will bear no good, off to the right, and he missed it again. So with 4:04 to play, that is a big miss because now again Spring Hill will have to score and get a 2-point conversion. Just a tie, but nonetheless, I don't know if it's an omen, but Spring Hill has been in overtime in their first 2 playoff games this year, and a touchdown and a 2-point conversion would send you to overtime again. And they have all 3 timeouts, so they are in really no panic situation here as far as having to onside kick. If you're the Tigers, you've got to bang out some first downs. Spring Hill, the benefactor of 2 poor Independence punts to set them up in good field position. Both drives went less than 30 yards. The first one was about 19. The second one, I think, was 28. And that's been it. But they have scored all year via special teams and defense. And that has set them up here in this ball game as they trail 20-12, 4:04 to play. Spring Hill with a full complement of timeouts, so they can stop it and force an Independence punt if they hold. They're going to go for an onside kick, and they're offsides. Spring Hill tried to rotate it to the left and kick it back or rotate to the right and kick it back to their left, but they jumped off sides, and they'll have to re-kick it again. So that at least give Independence a chance to set something up on this, should they try it again. Actually, they call Independence offsides. I think they called Independence offsides. Or did they? Yes, they called Independence offsides. So now they definitely look for the onside kick here. But you also got to be careful with a pooch kick. Fans here are hollering about the offsides, but once you cross the line, it's an automatic call. That's automatically kills it. There is no free play. And right here, Bonds better be careful not to let this ball go over his head. See if Spring Hill tries the onside again, and they will. They kick it. The ball goes out of bounds, and the Tigers will have it at the 38-yard line. So that is a huge play for Independence. And Spring Hill has all 3 timeouts. You wonder why they didn't try to kick that deep and try to just keep Independence bottled up. But instead, they onside kick. Ball goes out of bounds, and the Tigers have it in good field position at the 38. This is where your offensive line really has to hunker down here. You have to move the football, move the chains, and pick up some first downs and force Spring Hill to use some of their timeouts. Spring Hill has 8 in the box. This is Dawson. He's hit and hands it off to Sieber, and he loses about 3 or 4 yards. And right there, that's ill-advised if you're Independence. That's something you really don't want to do. So now you have 2nd down and long. Spring Hill still with 3 timeouts, and fans are hollering for a timeout, but really you don't want to call a timeout in that situation because You want to try to save one for offense if you can. And they'll definitely take one after this play. Again, 8 men in the box for Spring Hill. Sieber watching that play clock. Hands it to Dawson. He'll maneuver around for about a yard or two, and now Spring Hill calls their timeout. They have 2 left, and Dawson is down again, and now he bends up, and I'm not sure if he's hurt or he's just packed in mud because it's very muddy on that field. So Spring Hill will probably get this football back in decent field position with 1 timeout. They only had to use 1 there. They'll probably use another one here should Independence decide to run the football. Spring Hill does have 8 in the box. Independence could try to play action pass here, but again, you don't want to leave Spring Hill with any more timeouts than they have, but you figure they're going to call one anyway. So this may be a good situation to try a play action pass. Again, 8 men at the line of scrimmage. Sieber calls for it. On the give, Dawson is stopped for about 1 or 2 yards. And a timeout, Spring Hill, with an even 3 minutes to play, and they'll have plenty of time with 1 timeout left. So the Lumberjacks have been very patient and will have a chance to send this game into overtime if they can make a drive with 3 minutes to play in the game. Sieber has not punted well here tonight. Again, today's ball game brought to you in part by People's Bank of Louisiana, member FDIC, with 5 offices to serve you: Amite, Kentwood, Greensburg, Franklinton, and a new office in Hammond. That's People's Bank of Louisiana. Also, Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. Dixie Motors, dedicated to service after the sale. Don't get stuck without a Dixie sticker. Dixie Motors, home of no rigmarole. First Financial Services for all your holiday money needs. Free ham or turkey from First Financial Services. Also, Mike's Glass and Radiator. Sieber to punt. Snap is a good one. Kick is up, and again, it's high and straight up in the air, and will hit and be fielded by the Jacks. Has some running room and is knocked out of bounds at about the 45-yard line, and a flag is down. And let's see what this flag is on. If it's on Independence, Spring Hill definitely will take it and back them up. It's against Spring Hill. Let's see. Holding Tigers, and that is not good. That's going to back them up 10 yards, and Spring Hill is going to get another crack at it. So Independence, who was up by 2 touchdowns, obviously not celebrating too early, but just goes to show you why you cannot. If you remember, Hammond High was up 2 touchdowns on Eunice last year, and Eunice came back to win. So you got to play 48 minutes. The Tigers will have to punt it again after the penalty. And Spring Hill looks to get very good field position. And Spring Hill scored both of their touchdowns after poor punts and big punt returns. So right here, if you're Independence, you've got to make a good kick if you're Antron Sieber. Snap is a good one. Kick is away, and it's a line drive, which will be fielded at the 38-yard line by Washington. And he's hit and knocked out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So they pick up about 8 yards on that penalty. And that's just about what the penalty was, 10 yards. So Spring Hill in great position here with 2 minutes and 36 seconds and a timeout, a lot of momentum on their side. Don't be surprised if Spring Hill doesn't keep this ball on the ground. They've got a lot of time here. Independence Haygood has his troops under center. Play action pass, looks, has a receiver open, and he's tackled on a great play by Charles Tofield, I believe, and he picks up 7. So that brings up a second down and call it 2 or 3.
Second down and 3 for the Lumberjacks. 2:10 minutes in the ball game.
Spring Hill with all the momentum here. Trying to tie it up. Here's the give. Big hole, and he has the first down as Gates to the 33, and the Tigers are back on their heels defensively. Sean Tanner is down, and Independence might need to get a timeout here. And Spring Hill is hurrying up as there's 2 minutes to play and counting as the clock starts. So the Gates again has running room and is down to the 25. Independence is going to have to get a timeout and get their defense corrected because they are tired and back on their heels. But they're going to let it run. 1:33 and counting. Spring Hill has 1 timeout, but they have a 2nd and 1. Here's Gates again, hits through a hole, has the first down to the 20 with 1:16 to play, and Spring Hill doing just what they wanted to do, and they are in control right now, even though they trail by 8. They have all of the momentum on their side. Independence gasping for breath defensively. Here's a give. Gates is hit for about a gain of 1 or 2 to the 18, and Spring Hill will have to use their final timeout with 57 seconds to play. So drama once again in Spring Hill, Louisiana. Last week they had a double overtime win over Benton. The week before that they had a big overtime win over Winsboro. And they are threatening to send it to overtime again. And Independence last week was able to get a big 2-point conversion stop by Abbeville. Same situation for them as well. Abbeville scored with about a minute left and failed on a 2-point conversion. So both scenarios very familiar for both ball clubs. And this is what playoffs are all about in high school football. And drama at its best here in North Louisiana. 54 seconds to play. Tigers trying to mount some defense here, with Spring Hill having them back on their heels. Second down and 7. Whitlock to pass. Wide open. He's down to the 3-yard line. Back out of the backfield was wide open to the 4. My goodness. Clock will run. First and goal at the 4. Haygood, give on the trap. Gates, no good, as he stopped at about the 3. 2 or 3. And there's 27 seconds and counting. Spring Hill has no timeouts. 21 seconds, 20. Tigers better get out of the huddle here. Haygood turn, gives to Gates, and he's in for the touchdown. And Spring Hill has tied it with 9 seconds to play, with a threat to send it into overtime again. So Independence, who seemingly had the game in control, go up by 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter, has seen Spring Hill score twice quickly, and Independence needs a timeout, and they're not going to call it. They're screaming to call a timeout, and Independence is not calling it. This for the tie. Haygood turns, gives. He stops short, and Independence holds. And they'll win the ball game, I believe, as it's no good. Sammy Messina and company were screaming for a timeout. They didn't get it, but the Tigers stood their ground and held at the 1-yard line as Gates did not get in. And that is 2 weeks in a row the Tigers have held on 2-point conversions for the chance to send the game into overtime. But Independence has a player down in the end zone, and I can't see who it is, but give Spring Hill all the credit in the world. They were down and out at one point, but they did not quit and came back, and the game's still not over, 9 seconds to go, but onside kick and a Hail Mary pending.
Couldn't ask for no better game.
As the fans coming by saying you can't ask for a better game, and they're right about that. But Spring Hill still with a last gasp chance here if they can get an onside kick and a Hail Mary. They still could conceivably get back in this one. Not sure who's down for Independence. It looks like Derek Hunter, and he is hobbling as he comes off the field. Looks like an ankle or a knee, and he looks to be okay. So the hands team will come on the field for Independence. And I tell you what, fans, if you're a Spring Hill Lumberjack fan or an Independence Tiger fan, the last 2 weeks have been cardiac hell. And I will say hell here, because that's what it's been. Spring Hill's going to try an onside kick. And if you're the Tigers, you just want to try to fall on it. Last thing you want to do is have to go out there for a Hail Mary play. Spring Hill will rotate over, and this will be the kick. And it's covered by Lionel Joseph, and Tigers will win this one, as Lionel Joseph dove on the football at midfield. So Independence will win again after having to hold off on a 2-point conversion at the end of the ball game. But Independence played well tonight, and so did Spring Hill. The Tigers played well when it counted, but late in the ball game, struggling just a bit defensively. Spring Hill not having to go very far with the football. The Tigers were just flat out tired at the end. So all Antron Sieber here has to do is just take a knee, and the Tigers will eke out another one. And Spring Hill, you have to feel for the Lumberjacks. They have played gamely tonight. And Sieber takes a knee at midfield, and the Tigers have won another one. Your final score, Independence 20, Spring Hill 18. And what we're going to do is we're going to break here, and we're going to see if we can get Charles Baglio for an interview. We may have to do it on the field, but if we can get him up here, we'll try. But anyway, let's take a timeout, and we'll come back after this one. And welcome back on the postgame show, and joining me now is a victorious head football coach, Charles Baglio. And Coach, what can you say? Another week, another 2-point conversion that your defense turns the opponents away to win the ball game.
I wish I could tell you we work on them plays, Mark, but we don't. These kids just never cease to amaze us as coaches. I keep saying it over and over. They have overcome an awful lot. They lost 20 seniors from last year and lose the star running back in the first game, play of spring training. and still come back and in the semifinals for the third year in a row. It's just an amazing feat. They left it all on the field, I can tell you.
Coach, one thing that was obvious tonight was the dominance of your offensive line against a big defensive front from Spring Hill. Hadn't really been run on all year, but your team was maligned last week against Abbeville. They came out tonight, really wanted in the trenches when it counted.
I think that's right. I think the 95-yard drive in the third quarter was a key drive for us. It took them to a 2-touchdown deficit, and it made it hard for them to come back, even though they did come back, you know. But I thought the offensive line was the key to the ball game tonight.
Talk about Antron Sieber playing 50% for the second week in a row, still hobbling on that ankle, but tonight he seemed to suck it up, find something extra, and found a way to win the ball game.
Yes, he did. And you know, when you're a competitor like he is, I guess you forget about them hurts and aches, you know, and he just wants to win the game, and that's what he did tonight. He made a key read on the veer in that drive I was talking about. So, you know, what can you say about that guy? He's led us for 4 years, and all I can tell you, I'm going to miss him the next year.
Coach, now it's on to the semifinals for your third year in a row, and again, you'll be on the road next week. We're not sure who just yet, but do you have any preference over an opponent?
No, it doesn't matter. You know, I got a good friend of mine that coaches at Lutcher. That would be nice to go down there and play instead of having to make another long trip to Lake Charles. But whatever the cards are held for us, that's what we got to do. So we're just glad to be there, and there's only 4 of us left, and we're mighty excited.
Coach, we sure do appreciate you joining us here on the post-game show. Great win. Good luck. Safe trip home.
Thank you a lot. I appreciate it.
Coach Charles Baglio, everybody, as Independence wins another heart-stopper here tonight from Spring Hill by a score of 20-18. Tigers dominated 3.5 quarters of the ball game, but Spring Hill made a late rally to close the gap within 2, a 2-point conversion late in the ball game with 9 seconds to play, but a key stop on about the 1-foot line turned the Jacks away, and the Tigers, for the second week in a row, come up big winners, stopping a 2-point conversion. I'd like to thank everybody involved, Garrett Crawford, our cameraman, all the folks here at Spring Hill, and those who make the broadcast possible. We're going to send it back to the studio, and you're watching Florida Parishes Television, Channel 17, high school football. We'll see you next week from somewhere, either Lutcher or Lake Charles.